Malfeasance is the Thorn look-alike hand cannon in Destiny 2 and was unleashed upon the world a little while back. It is the Gambit specific exotic. The journey to complete the quest is not very long and not very complicated at all, but getting the actual quest starter can be brutal. To actually start the quest, you need to kill what is basically a voice of Riven in Gambit. This is a randomly spawning boss while you're playing Gambit. There are no known methods of spawning the boss other than just getting lucky. The boss spawns more often when the curse on the Dreaming City is at its strongest. Not only do you need the boss to spawn, you also need to win that round, otherwise you will not get the quest item. When you do get the quest, the first thing that you will have to do is kill 25 taken bosses. I put bosses in quotes because the best place to do that is in the blind well, killing the servants of the plague. Just make sure you actually tag the enemy so that you get credit for the kill. People killing it around you will not count. You should be able to get this done in about 2 to 4 cycles. You'll then go to a special version of the Corrupted Strike that is 580 power. Once you complete this mission, you're going to have a lot of Gambit to do. You need to win 10 games of Gambit and then deposit 400 motes. 400 motes? 400 motes into the bank. But every time you die with motes, you lose progress equal to double the amount of motes lost. So, you know, don't die with motes. After this step, you'll need to get 25 kills as an invader, and you need to do one of the following. Number 1, you need to kill all 4 enemy players as an invader in one invasion, or 2, someone else on your team needs to do that 3 times. So you can rely on your teammates to try to make that part happen, or you can go do it yourself. But either way, you still need to go kill 25 Guardians as an invader in Gambit at some point. Once you're done with that step, you get the gun. The hardest part is easily getting the boss to spawn, which appears to just be completely random. Mote collecting is going to be a little risky. Biggest piece of advice here is to just go for smalls and mediums. Try to get at least a small taken's worth of motes from every batch of enemies in PvE. Stop going for those mega 15 stacks because they're very risky. And guess what? If you die with 15 motes, the game sets you back 30. You're losing double motes. Go for 5s and 10s. Please. Your teammates will thank you. As for the invader kills, well, you can break out the old you-know-what and just go to town. I'm sure many of you are doing that already. As for thoughts on the gun, it has shown itself to be a little lackluster in day-to-day play compared to other weaponry available, and after using it for a bit, I would have to agree for the most part. The core of the weapon revolves around hitting 5 shots to make your target explode with damage, right? That's the fun part, making your target explode, that's the whole point. The problem is that this is a primary weapon, which is supposed to be your workhorse weapon, the thing that kills low and mid-tier enemies. Low and mid-tier enemies are not going to survive the 5 shots it requires to activate the main perk. Therefore, the gun, for the most part, acts like any other gun. Upper tier enemies, your knights, your wizards, your captains, minotaurs, this is where you can utilize the perk a little bit more, sure. But those kinds of enemies warrant the use of your special weapons, your shotguns, your snipers, your fusions, things like that. The only time you'd use Malfeasance against those enemies is if you're low on special or heavy ammo, or maybe they're weak a little bit, but then again, you can use any weapon for that as well. It's fine. There's just a very small subset of enemies in the game that the weapon is very, very good against. It does gain bonus damage against Taken, so you might have some instances where it'll one-shot an enemy that normally requires 2, and so on and so forth, but that's not really getting me jazzed up a ton because the fun part is proccing the perk and having explosions. In PvP, it's a 4-shot kill, which is fine because it's a 180 RPM hand cannon, but if you do manage to shoot someone 5 times, they're probably just going to die from the bullet damage anyway, thus negating the point of the perk. However, positive, It is basically a guaranteed 5-shot kill from any range, since if you hit a target 5 times and they don't die from the bullet damage, they're 9 times out of 10 going to die from the perk itself, so that is some form of a benefit. But just because you can do that doesn't always mean that you should or will. We are living in a pulse rifle and hand cannon meta right now, but the only way you're getting super far away kills with this thing is if people are missing a lot of shots on you or they're not looking at you. Ace of Spades is just an absolute monster of a weapon right now with insane range, insane damage, and I can't think of many reasons from a competitive standpoint to use Malfeasance over Ace. You need to be a hell of a shot to get those fast kills, and if you're good enough to succeed with Malfeasance, you probably already have a Luna's Howl or are on your way to getting one, which is a better weapon than Malfeasance. Against supers, unless your target is already a little bit low, it's not really going to do a whole ton to proc the perk on them. It's satisfying to get the super far kills and have the perk proc, don't get me wrong, but it's not going to happen a ton. It'll happen once every maybe 2 to 3 games, at least that was my rate. In Gambit, that's where this thing can shine a little bit more because it deals 75 damage to the head to an invader, so that's a 3-shot kill. But if you're not used to the 180 RPM rate of fire, this might not be any faster than a normal hand cannon kill, and Gambit invasion meta is very long-ranged focused right now, and Malfeasance is not that for the most part. Now, Bungie has already talked about buffing the weapon in some way, whatever it might be. I think I would like to see something else with the hitting 5 shots thing. I think the concept of hitting 5 shots in a row should stick around, but enable some other effect when getting a bunch of kills on smaller guys. Maybe have something where you get a stacking buff whenever you get kills, and then on that 5th kill, your next shot instantly has the explosion effect, or it's a stronger explosion effect, similar to a Zen Meteor kind of thing. It's got to be explosion related. Just that's the core of it, explosion. Anything that sticks with the same model that it has right now, even if it's like increased explosion damage, is likely to have the same issues that we have right now with the gun, where the perk just isn't getting utilized. The perk needs to shine on the weapon, the explosions need to be the focus, otherwise it's probably not going to work out. Lowering it to 3 or 4 shots would be okay for PvE, but maybe kind of busted for PvP for long range shooting, I don't know. The fun is the perk, and they just need to figure out how to make that useful and good and fun. The weapon's not bad, right? It's not terrible. We've certainly seen worse weapons come out, but there aren't enough reasons to really use it over something like an Ace of Spades, for example. Hopefully, they can buff it up. That's all I got on the gun. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.